What would you do if you discovered that your workplace wasn't quite what it seemed? That the building you walked into every night held secrets darker than the shadows in its empty hallways? Welcome back to another spine-chilling tale. I'm your host, and tonight, I want to share with you the story of Marcus Chun, a security guard who thought he'd found a perfect job. Little did he know, some positions come with more than just a paycheck. Marcus had been unemployed for 3 months when he saw the posting. Night security guard, excellent pay, minimal experience required. It seemed too good to be true, but after weeks of rejections, he wasn't about to look a gift horse in the mouth. The Meridian Corporate Center was a gleaming 40-story tower in the heart of downtown. During his interview, conducted in a sterile conference room on the 20th floor, Marcus was impressed by the building's modern architecture and state-of-the-art security systems. The job is simple, explained Mrs. Hartwell, the hiring manager. She was a thin woman with silver hair, pulled back so tightly it seemed to stretch her features. Walk the rounds, monitor the cameras, and keep the building secure. The overnight shift runs from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Marcus nodded eagerly. The pay was nearly double what he'd made at his last job. There's just one thing, Mrs. Hartwell continued, her pale eyes fixed on his. You'll be working alone. Some people find the isolation difficult. Marcus laughed. I prefer working alone, actually. Give me time to think. Mrs. Hartwell's smile didn't reach her eyes. Perfect. You start Monday. The building felt different at night. What had seemed bright and welcoming during the day now felt vast and empty. Marcus settled into the security desk in the main lobby, surrounded by monitors displaying feeds from cameras throughout the building. His supervisor, Dave, was a gruff man in his 50s who'd been doing night security for over a decade. Listen, kid, Dave said, handing Marcus a heavy flashlight and a set of keys. The job's easy, but there are rules. You do your rounds every 2 hours. You check floors 1 through 39. You never, and I mean never, go to the 40th floor. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Why not? Executive level. Motion sensors up, they're hypersensitive. You'll trigger every alarm in the building. Dave's expression was serious. Trust me, you don't want to deal with that paperwork. The first few hours passed quietly. Marcus walked his rounds, checked doors, and monitored the cameras. The building was eerily quiet, filled only with the hum of ventilation systems and the distant sound of traffic from the street below. Around 2 a.m., during his third round, Marcus noticed something odd. As he walked past the elevators on the 15th floor, he heard a soft ding. The elevator doors opened, revealing an empty car. He pressed the call button. Nothing. The elevator had stopped on its own. Probably just a maintenance issue, he thought, making a note to report it in the morning. By his third night, Marcus was getting comfortable with the routine. The building had its quirks. Elevators that moved on their own, lights that flickered in empty offices, the occasional sound of footsteps from floors he'd already cleared. Old buildings settle, he told himself. Mechanical systems make noise. But on Thursday night, something happened that he couldn't explain away. During his midnight round, Marcus was checking the 23rd floor when he heard it, the unmistakable sound of typing. Fast, urgent typing coming from the corner office. He approached cautiously, his flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. The office was empty, but the computer screen was on, displaying a document filled with repeated text. Get out, get out, get out, get out. The typing continued, invisible fingers striking invisible keys. Marcus watched in horror as the words multiplied, filling the screen. His radio crackled to life. Marcus, you okay up there? Your panic button just went off. Marcus looked down. His thumb was pressed against the red button on his radio. He didn't remember touching it. Yeah, I'm fine. False alarm. He backed away from the office, his heart hammering in his chest. As he reached the elevator, the typing stopped. The building fell silent once again. Marcus couldn't sleep during the day. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw those words on the screen, heard the phantom typing. He'd been working at Meridian for 2 weeks, and the incidents were getting worse. Elevators opening on empty floors. Phones ringing in vacant offices. shadows moving in his peripheral vision. Friday night, he decided to investigate. If there was something going on in this building, he was going to find out what. During his 2 a.m. round, instead of taking the stairs to the 39th floor as usual, Marcus took the elevator to 40. The doors opened to reveal a floor unlike any other in the building. While every other level was modern and sleek, the 40th floor looked like it hadn't been updated since the 1980s. Outdated furniture, yellowed walls, and the overwhelming smell of old coffee and cigarettes. But that wasn't the strangest part. The floor was occupied. People in outdated business attire sat at desks, working with an intensity that seemed almost frantic. They typed at computers, shuffled papers, and spoke in hushed tones on phones. But something was wrong with the scene. Marcus approached one of them, a man in a brown suit with a loosened tie. "Excuse me," Marcus said. The man looked up, and Marcus's blood ran cold. The man's face was pale, almost translucent, and his eyes were completely black. "You shouldn't be here," the man said in a voice like rustling leaves. "This is our time." Around the room, other figures turned to look at Marcus. All of them had the same pale, ghostly appearance. The same black eyes. "Who are you?" Marcus whispered. "We work here," said a woman in a faded blue dress. "We've always worked here. Even after." "After what?" The woman's expression grew sad. "After the fire. December 15th, 1987. We were working late, trying to meet a deadline. The fire started on the 38th floor and spread quickly. We were trapped." Marcus felt the temperature in the room drop. "You're dead, yes. But our work isn't finished. It's never finished. We clock in every night at 10, and we work until dawn, just like we always did." The man in the brown suit stood up. "You need to leave. This isn't your floor, and if you stay too long, you might not be able to leave at all." Around the room, the other figures began to stand. Their movements were jerky, unnatural. "We tried to warn you," the woman said. "The messages, the sounds, the elevators. We were trying to tell you to stay away." Marcus backed toward the elevator, his hands shaking as he pressed the call button. The doors seemed to take forever to open. "Some people," the woman continued, "some people get curious. They come up here, and they never leave. They join us. They work with us. Forever." The elevator doors finally opened. Marcus stumbled inside and frantically pressed the button for the lobby. As the doors closed, he heard the woman's voice one last time. "See you Monday, Marcus." Marcus didn't show up for work on Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday. He called in sick, claiming he had the flu. But the truth was, he was terrified. Every night at 10 p.m., he felt a pull, an overwhelming urge to return to the Meridian Corporate Center, to take the elevator to the 40th floor, to join the eternal night shift. On Thursday, Mrs. Hartwell called him at home. "Marcus, we need to talk. Can you come in tonight?" "I can't. I'm still sick. I know what you saw on the 40th floor." Marcus's blood ran cold. "I don't know what you're talking about." "The fire in 1987 killed 43 people. They were our employees, Marcus, our dedicated, hardworking employees, and they still are." Marcus hung up the phone, but it rang again immediately. "You can't run from this." Mrs. Hartwell's voice was different now, hollow and echoing. "You've been chosen. You've seen them. You're part of this now. I quit." Marcus shouted into the phone. "You can't quit the night shift, Marcus. No one ever quits the night shift." The line went dead. Marcus tried to ignore the pull, but it grew stronger each night. He'd wake up in cold sweats, dreaming of typing fingers and black eyes. He'd find himself dressed in his security uniform, standing by his front door, keys in hand, with no memory of getting ready. On Saturday night, he couldn't fight it anymore. He drove to the Meridian Corporate Center, parked in the empty lot, and walked through the glass doors. The building felt like home now, familiar and welcoming in a way that terrified him. The elevator took him directly to the 40th floor. The ghostly workers were there, as they always were, but now they looked up and smiled when they saw him. "Welcome back, Marcus," said the woman in the blue dress. "We saved you a desk." Marcus looked at the empty desk in the corner. A computer waited for him, screen glowing in the darkness. A nameplate read M. Chun, security. I don't understand, Marcus said, though part of him did. The building needs a security guard, explained a man in the brown suit. Someone to watch over us while we work, to make sure we're not disturbed. But I'm not dead. Not yet, the woman said gently. But you will be, and then you'll understand. Work is eternal. Marcus, work is forever. Marcus approached the desk. The computer screen showed a document, blank except for a single line. Shift begins at 10 p.m. Shift ends never. As he sat down, Marcus felt the last of his resistance fade away. The chair was comfortable. The keyboard felt familiar under his fingers. He began to type. The next Monday, Mrs. Hartwell interviewed a new candidate for the night security position. A young woman named Sarah, recently laid off from her previous job. The job is simple, Mrs. Hartwell explained. Walk the rounds, monitor the cameras, and keep the building secure. The overnight shift runs from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Sarah nodded eagerly. The pay was excellent. There's just one thing, Mrs. Hartwell continued. You'll be working alone. Some people find the isolation difficult. I prefer working alone, Sarah said. Gives me time to think. Mrs. Hartwell smiled. Perfect. You start tonight. High above, on the 40th floor, Marcus looked up from his computer screen. He'd been typing the same security report for hours, just like he would for eternity. Through the window, he could see Sarah's car pulling into the parking lot. He picked up his radio and spoke into it, his voice now carrying the same hollow echo as the others. New security guard arriving, beginning surveillance. The night shift never ends at the Meridian Corporate Center. It just gets bigger. And that's the story of Marcus Chun and the Meridian Corporate Center. A reminder that some jobs demand more than just your time. They demand your soul. What would you do if you found yourself in Marcus's position? Would you have the strength to resist the pull? Or would you, like him, eventually succumb to the eternal night shift? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more spine-chilling tales. Until next time, keep your lights on. And remember, sometimes the best paying jobs come at the highest price. Sweet dreams.